it's Rhea. Wherever you are and whatever time it is, I hope you are enjoying yourself. As you can see, this is a sketchbook. It is a sketchbook that I've been working in for far too long, and one of the main roadblocks in my art life right now is finishing this. It is like so overdue. So I'm here today for us to finish this sketchbook. But it's a long, tedious process, of course, and I'm planning to do this in 3 sections, same thing, I guess. Basically, the sketchbook is almost finished, but there are, I think, 11 pages left that I have to both do the line art for and then also color. Basically, what I decided to do is film a session doing all the line arting in one go, and then film another session doing all the coloring and touch-ups in one go, and then we can finally do the last page as its own video to send this entire experience off. So yeah, right here there are all these little Shiba tab stickers, and these mark pages that I have not fully completed. So if I turn to the first one, yes. So this is an unfinished page, and basically what I'm going to do is go through each of these, and I'm going to, get started on filling them out. But in this video I will be doing the line art portion of, completing the spread. So I won't be fully complete, but it'll be like, the start of it. So that's probably the hardest part, is just starting things right. So we're gonna get that knocked out. I will try my best to keep the other pages like hidden, so for the sake of surprise later on whenever I go to do the sketchbook tour, we can just focus on the pages that we will be working on today. I have a cup of Earl Grey here, and it's like already getting cold as heck, so I'll probably start up my electric tea kettle again, but friendly reminder to get your favorite beverage of choice. Actually, real quick before I get started, this is kind of like a last minute thing that I just now remembered to do, but it's pretty important. Right here I have listed down all of the fineliner brands that I have. So I did fineliners over here and then pins over here. A lot of the pins that I'll have are like repetitive, so I didn't swatch every single one of them if they're just different colors, But for the most part, I feel like this is a really helpful and almost necessary thing to do if you're someone that works with traditional art. I basically wrote out the name of each of these products, and then I did, is it like a swatch test, I guess? Like a marker test and a water test, because whenever it comes to fineliners especially, you want to make sure that if you're the kind of person that prefers to do the line art first and then color over, then it's essential to make sure that either marker or water will work for going over it, and like how the ink will react. So I did that with all of these, and for the marker I just used a Copic marker, and for water I just used water. So yeah, these it just kind of like, I went down and saw each reaction up close. I don't know if this helps, but yeah, it's like you can tell which ones for sure passed and which ones are kind of like failing the test here. So yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna read out each and every one of these, but just something that is really helpful that you kind of feel like is tedious, but it saves you so much, like so many small mistakes that just kind of can ruin an entire spread, So yeah, I guess I'll just go ahead and get started. Hello, it is VoiceOver Rhea here to join you in this sketchbook spread compilation. Of course it is a little bit sped up given I'm going through so many spreads, but I did want to clarify something. I already put like a little text message, but in case you are more of listening to this rather than watching, I am not going to be doing 10 whole freaking spreads. I don't know who I thought I was whenever I initially started this. Like, I don't know what, like, it makes sense because that's how I am. I just shoot really ridiculous goals for myself, and I'm like, I can't really do that though. So yeah, no, we're not going to be doing 10 spreads. We're actually going to be doing 4, well, it's kind of like 5 in total, but basically in this video I'm going to be doing 4 spreads and I'm going to be line arting them. So you will see the line art process of 4 spreads in this current sketchbook. I will then in the future post a corresponding video in which I color all of those spreads. And once again, it's still 4 spreads. So the 5th spread will be the last page in the sketchbook, and we will do that video hopefully or ideally as just like the final casual, just hopefully real time if I can video, like a full session of me like doing the line art and coloring and all of that. Yeah, just to keep it like a trilogy, I guess, and then we can have the sketchbook tour afterwards, of course. So yes, that is the plan for how these videos are gonna go. I do have some other like unrelated type of videos that I'd like to do, but we'll see if I get to those. Right now it's kind of a weird time. I don't know how things are going for you guys. I know like the end of the year can be hectic for a lot of people, and for me it both feels like it is and isn't. It feels like I'm trying to do so many things, and at the same time it feels like I'm just trying to like take my time with it at the same time. I don't know. It's really odd. And also, if I sound a little bit scatterbrained, I don't really have a script for this video. I'm kind of just winging it. So, I mean, I want to talk about the spreads as I'm filling them out, so I guess I should do that. But other than that, we're just gonna, it's a totally like chill time, so I hope you guys don't mind my informalities. Well, we're not formal here to begin with. It's like, this is, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway. This first spread that I'm doing though, you can tell there's like this certain theme of like badassery. I don't even know if that's a word, but I feel like it should be. I feel like people have said it before, but yeah, it's very like, I don't know, like girl gang energy, very fun and very up my alley. So yeah, I don't have too many themes that I think of whenever I like start a sketch page, but this is just one that I felt like doing. So yeah, and then I think actually now that I'm remembering it, this the character that I'm doing the line art for right now, that was actually a sketch that I did for something completely different. It was for my self-insert September, which was like literally 3 years ago, I think. And it was for the demon girl that I drew. That was gonna be like basically my self-insert as a demon. And yeah, I think this was a sketch that I did for that. But doing this sketch now, or like doing the line art at least, she looks completely different, of course. I did finish the coloring for this spread as well, I think maybe last week or something, but it's turned out really fun. I actually really like how this spread looks. Because this is a sketchbook that I've had for like the past couple of years, and I've been working off and on in it the past couple of years, there's quite a difference in spreads, I guess, and like each individual page. Like, I don't know. And then that's another thing, like revisiting the sketchbook and trying to finish it out, it's like my art style or skills have changed, and I don't know, it's just kind of interesting to see that difference happening whenever I go to do like the line art of old sketches and stuff. And I wasn't sure if I should just do completely new sketches or what, but I think for the most part I like compromised in just trying to like whenever I go to do the line art, I just keep it as is for the most part, but I still try to improvise where I can with my newer skills and insight, I guess. It's been a fun time trying to fill the sketchbook out, but it's been also like a tedious time because I guess I'm realizing how long it really can take to fill out a sketchbook, especially if you're trying to make each page be colored and stuff, because the thing is with this sketchbook, it is a Render Crescent Sketchbook, and the whole reason why I got it is because it doesn't, if you color with marker, it does not bleed on the back. So if you're coloring with alcohol markers or anything that is very much prone to bleeding on most sketchbook pages, it would not bleed on this type of paper. And at the time I was like, oh hell yeah, that sounds great. Like that sounds like I want to use markers more. I would love to use paper that doesn't bleed on the back, that way I don't have to worry about, just having a page be completely useless to me. So yeah, that's why at the time I was like, yeah, let's go for it. But now that I've used it for quite some time and stuff, I'm actually not really fond of it. I don't really think that it's worth the hype that I gave it at the time. And I think it's mostly because I've grown in how I see that problem of the paper bleeding. Because I feel like the material that this paper has, I don't know what it is exactly. It's like that special marker paper material where supposedly it's made for markers and made to not bleed through, but I feel like something about it is just not comfortable to me. It's not comfortable for blending the markers, not comfortable for working with the markers in general. I don't know, just my entire experience using it, I feel like for the most part it's been a bit unsatisfactory for me. Yeah, which is kind of like a bummer, because that's the whole reason why I got this. So yeah, this is a 8x8 sketchbook as well, so it's kind of big, since I think I'm used to like the portrait size, like not letter sized per se, but like maybe like a 6x8, 8x6, whatever it is, where it's like portrait sized and it's not like too big. Because I don't know, I've always used those, so I guess it's what I preferred. But this one is square sized and it is spiral bound. And yeah, I think the marker paper was something that really compelled me to get the most out of the sketchbook and make sure that I use the markers more, like I said I would. And I do. Pretty much, I believe I try to incorporate it on every page, but I know there's probably going to be some pages where that's just not really happening, and that's fine. Like, not every part of it needs to be colored, and I think that's something that I came to terms with during the process of me like vigorously trying to finish a sketchbook, because in general sometimes I like pencil sketches just as is, and in fact it's something that I have a habit of defaulting to a ton, like so much to where I'm just like a huge sketcher, I guess. Like when I sketch with pencil, I'm sketching like the shading and everything in, so it kind of makes it difficult for me whenever I decide, oh right, I'm gonna like color this with marker, because then I have to erase all of the shading that I did with the pencil, that way it doesn't interfere with the marker. That's something that I'm very guilty of doing, and I just will keep doing it because it takes a while for me to realize, like, if I want to color something with like marker, that I probably shouldn't color it in too much with the pencil. But one thing that's helped me is switching over to the Pilot Color yknows, or at least using like color pencils or anything other than graphite, basically. That way it's like, it's not as obvious or not as bad for my markers whenever they interact, because whenever it's graphite, oh my god, it's just so like it's so stark. I don't know, it's like, it's so noticeable. But yeah, that is the first page line arted, and you can see I put my little Shiba tab back on, so that way I remember to go in and color it. But yeah, moving on to the next spread. This is actually a really fun one, and something that I kind of wanted to make like a little mini series. I don't know if or like when I'll get around to doing these, and I might want to do them digitally, but basically it's like my OCs are doing a dress up. They're dressing up as a certain aesthetic. So for this one, I believe the aesthetic is like punk. Yeah, like just like punk, basic punk aesthetic. It's kind of hard to keep up with aesthetics these days though, because it's like I feel like there's so many genres than there already were, like back whenever I was a teen. So the fact that, I don't know, I just find it so overwhelming, so I'm trying to make sure that I get it at least somewhat accurate to what I remember. And so I at the time, I think I just looked on Pinterest, punk aesthetic, and and I also tried to consider like what comes to mind whenever I think of punk aesthetic. So yeah, that's how I came up with this spread. I think of it as like tights, or like fishnet tights and like chains and belts. It's like you kind of think of like emo or goth as well, but I want them to still be their own respective genres, you know? I'm pretty big on this because, like I said, whenever I was 15, I was like all about like all the individual aesthetics you could have, and I know that there's differences to each one. So if I'm drawing these out, I kind of want them to be followed. But nevertheless, these are 3 of my OCs. The one on the left, I don't have a name for. I just call her Ram Girl because she has like the little like ram horns, I guess. And I've just continued to consistently draw her ever since I did like the first time a couple of years ago, and I've always drawn her with those little ram horns, and she has like long purple hair that's in like these braided twin tails. So yes, she's great. In the middle we have a more popular OC, I feel like, in terms of me drawing them more often, not as in terms of like him being known. I feel like I do not really make my OCs, like I should draw them more consistently. I need to show them off more, but I get shy. They're my precious babies. But you will see them a lot in the sketchbook because at the time, for some reason, I'm gonna tangent, sorry. I'll explain more about my OC in a little bit, but at the time of me starting this and a lot of the time of me working on this, I had some bizarre idea that sketchbooks were to be, or that I should like split my sketchbooks into like multiple, or like I should have multiple sketchbooks based on like a subject or like a concept, I guess. And this one was supposed to be my OC sketchbook where I'm just drawing fully original content, blah blah blah. And I'm saying that because I think I had a fan art sketchbook that I completed maybe a couple years ago or something, maybe last year, and I did a sketchbook tour for that or whatever. But yeah, so it was in my mind to have like a sketchbook for fan art, one for original content, one for design stuff, one for studies, you know. And like I just recently revisited that whole mentality and I was like, what the hell was I thinking? Like, once again, I just I guess that's just how it always is with your future self. It's just natural for you to look back and be like, girl, what were you doing? Like, what was the point? Like, I get it on one hand because sometimes I just like things to be streamlined and organized or categorized in a certain way that makes it easier for me. But I think, I don't know, I guess moving forward, I kind of feel like I just don't really care. So I'm just gonna draw whatever and figure it out. But yeah, that's why in the sketchbook you will see mostly OC stuff, because at the time I was like, yeah, let's just do OC stuff in this one. Sure, why not? So yeah, that's but aside from that tangent, yes, the one in the middle is Mira. He is an OC that I very much enjoy. He's very precious, very pretty boy with not the best attitude. And then one day I remember thinking to myself, oh my gosh, imagine punk Mira. Like, he would look so cool. Like, I feel like he would look really good in punk aesthetic. So that's how that came to be. I think that's what like helped spark this entire thing. Like, I knew I wanted to do these in like sets of 3 of my OCs, but I knew Mira was going to be the first one for sure. And then this last OC that I am drawing in punk clothing is, her name is Prism, I believe, and you spell the S in Prism with a 5 because quirky. But yeah, Prism's really cute too. I want to draw her digitally because coloring her hair is a little bit difficult, and you'll probably see why in the future. But she has a really cute design, and normally she's very like cutesy. I think I kind of gave her a somewhat like internet idol type persona, so I don't know, but that's why it was really fun for me to imagine what she would look like as like super punk rock and having all these like a collar with the spikes on it. I don't know, I just thought it was really cute. So yeah, and then spoiler alert, I'm not going to show it in the video, but I think to the right of this spread there's another drawing of these three where it kind of looks like it's a selfie of all three of them together, or something like that. It's really cute. But yes, that is the second spread complete, and we are now moving on to the next one, which is actually very nice for the timing of year right now. As we move into the holidays, this is a Christmas themed spread. So it features all my OCs and like Christmas attire or things like that, and you can kind of just enjoy everybody's mood in this like photo. It kind of reminds me of like a group. It was like a family photo, except it's not like they're all related or anything like that. They're just my OCs, but I guess in a way it's kind of like a family photo of, you know, these are all my children and all of their different Christmas auras. No pun intended, but I am drawing my OC, or I'm doing the line art for her right now. But yeah, this was a pretty fun spread, and there are some things that I switch up as I am doing the line art for it, but actually let me talk about that for a second, because line art is not my specialty. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I am not really a line art like, I have done line art for a while, but I've never been confident with it. I've never been like looking forward to it. It's usually what I dread the most, and I know I'm not alone in that, so thank you fellow artists out there that also dread doing the line art. Hopefully we can overcome that feeling. I think I would like it a lot more if I knew what I was doing. Like if I just had more confidence, I don't know, and that's really something that you can only achieve by doing it more. So yeah, and I'll likely get around to doing more line art soon, because I'm gonna see if I can try to revisit my old style of approaching a drawing or illustration like digitally, because I think I talked about it in my last video that I've moved to a more painterly style in the past year or so. So I would like to revisit how I used to do things and see if there's any new insight that I've gained during this time. I am so sorry. I literally don't know how to talk anymore. I've given up. Like, I don't even know if it would matter if I had a script at this point. I feel like I just genuinely, when it comes to forming words, my brain is not here for it. I don't know. I just can't do it. But yeah, I'd like to revisit doing line art, basically. And so this has been a really helpful challenge in kickstarting that, I guess. One thing that's been interesting is using all the line art supplies that I'm using in this video, which I can indeed list down in the description like I usually do. Right now I am using a frixion pen, and let me just say, I do indeed love me a frixion pen. I don't know what it is. Actually, I know exactly what it is. I love a safety net, so the fact that I can erase with this pen is everything. And Frixion has several different kinds of pins and several different kinds of like, I don't know, they have a whole line of stationary items, it seems. But I recently found my holy grail, and it is the Frixion Point Knock pin. Now I'm really hoping this is available in like stores in the US, because I got this overseas on my trip, in which I was in Japan and Korea, so I haven't talked about that much, have I? I'm waiting to do a specific video for that, so I'll get around to it. It's fine. Anyways, this is one of the things that I brought back, and this might not be the Frixion point knock pen. I think this is just a frixion ball pen, but basically I am enjoying a lot of the frixion pens, and I am glad to have found like a pen that I can both sketch with and also do line art with. I think that's pretty cool. And of course, in addition to that, I also got a couple of other fine liners from Japan, and a lot of them work really amazing. I'm just in absolute awe, and I don't know, I've really been enjoying it. I tried to think about what pins, like while I was there and trying to get everything on site, I was trying to think about what sizes I like the most and things like that, because I know that's also changed over the years. For some reason, I noticed that I've had a lot of pins or a lot of fine liners that are like 0.5, no, 0.1, like 0.1 basically, and that's kind of freaking small on terms of like thickness, for line art at least. I think it's because I tend to draw on like the smaller side in my sketchbooks, or at least that's something that I've noticed in the past. I'm not a big sketchbook user, so I guess with the with like this size, like basically whenever I'm drawing on a smaller size, it makes sense to use a smaller thickness for line art. But if I'm drawing on a bigger size of paper, then it makes sense that I would want to use like a thicker fine liner. So yeah, 01 is so small to me now, and I mean, I don't mind it, but I definitely won't be going to it for my line art in the future. I think I'm pretty comfortable with like 08. 05 is okay, but I do think like 08 is a nice in between. I wish more colors were at like the 1.0 thickness, but even so, I feel like I'm just kind of enjoying playing with all different sizes in the pens and fine liners that I've been discovering. I don't think I've talked too much about like specific products or things like that, so I don't know if that's interesting to you guys or how y'all feel about that, or how I even feel about that, but yeah, I'd say off the top of my head when it comes to fine liners, I am enjoying this use of frixion, although I don't normally think of frixion pens to be used as line art. I will say, when I think of line art, I think of like microns, because that's what I've used a lot during my early college years, and even now I still use them. Like I said, I do kind of wish that they're more colorful colors, you know, like the blue or pink or things like that. I wish they came in like sizes bigger than 08, but nevertheless, I do enjoy using them. I also have started using the Copic fine liners just to see how they perform as well. And like I said, I also got a good amount of fine liners overseas, and I've been trying those out. They work phenomenally so far. I've really been enjoying them, but yeah, I don't really have a huge criteria on on fine liners. I feel like their job is pretty straightforward, so if you do like the little the marker and water test to see how they perform on that, and you already know like what you want to use them for, it's pretty much a done deal. Like I said, I don't really know how to approach talking about products unless it's like I'm making a video, like an unboxing or something like that, but other than that, I don't know. It's a new, not necessarily new territory, I just never know how to approach it, especially since a lot of it is still me like building up my first impressions. But yeah, we are now on the last, technically the second to last spread, but I mean, for this video it's the last spread. It is probably the only real like illustrated looking spread in the sketchbook. Everything else is very like I said, I'm a sketcher, so I usually don't do a ton of like illustrations. It's one of the things that I've wanted to do a lot more. One of the things I was definitely supposed to do this year but didn't really get around to, sadly. But coming around to this, yeah, I feel like this definitely looks like an illustration or print that I would have, so depending on how it turns out, I might clean it up and do that, but I don't know, it's just like this fun, whimsical drawing of this character that appears to be in like a celestial type setting or whatever, but there's like water and tears just kind of floating from the zero gravity that's in space. I've been thinking about this recently. Whenever you guys do like a traditional sketch like this, before you jump into the coloring, do you always do like a digital mock-up of testing the colors out? So like say I take a photo of this and I open it in Procreate and I just kind of like briefly color over it to see what colors I want. Do you guys always do that? Because I think for like a sketch or something like that where it's not necessarily going to be a huge illustration, I feel like I don't mind just kind of winging it, but I don't know. It is something that I would like to look into more, especially while I try to get back into more traditional mediums. I will continue digital, of course, but I do want to utilize a lot of the supplies that I've recently gained. So yeah, I guess you can look forward to that. Wow, this video, like this voiceover zoomed by. I always feel like I'm not sure how to fill in all the time that I end up having. Because I was like, oh, it's gonna be like 30 minutes, it's a lot, but here we are and it's almost over, so, which is probably good for me because I, for some reason, cannot talk today. Actually, it might just be like an ongoing thing. I feel like whenever I go to do these voiceovers, I forget how to like function as a person socially, so it's just, the talking is just not happening at all, you guys. I don't know what to do. Maybe if I can just do them more, because it's been a while since I've, like, I don't know if I see what I mean? I guess I'll just have to talk more. So get ready for more content and more voiceovers and more chaos. But no, this video closes out kind of chaotically because it's only while I am editing this and also while I'm filming the next video that I realized that I didn't want to do 10 spreads and that 4 could suffice just fine, so I close out on a completely random page that I end up having to blur out so that way it's not spoiled. But yeah, enjoy. I guess that concludes everything. So thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed your time here today, please feel free to leave a like. If you're interested to see more of my content, you can always check out my other videos and subscribe. For reference, if you are new, I am Rhea or Etheria, and I like making art and art-related content on my channel. I do try to post weekly videos, but if you would like more timely updates, you can always check out my other social media linked in the description and also at the end of the video. Until next time, once again, thank you guys so much for watching and putting up with my chaos. I wish you the best during these holiday times, and take care.